All right. And we are not live. Hear ye. But welcome to the Iron Lords Podcast, LLC, and also lordsofgaming.net. I'm extremely excited about our special guests. And we've got Wishfully Studios and Planet of Lana 2, Children of the Leaf to discuss. So we're going to get right into it. I want to introduce two lords whom I had the pleasure of meeting at Tokyo Game Show. The first being a creative director and co-studio head, which in 2023 showcased a classic sci-fi puzzle adventure with a beautiful 2.5D painterly art style. And the second lord, whose game directing and amazing script writing help evoke strong emotional beats for companion gameplay and the adorable language we all love on Planet Novo. Hola. Live from Sweden and Sydney, and both kind enough to make their debut into the realm of the Lords. My man, Lord Adam Hanyas and Klaus Ericksson of Wishfully Studios. How are you gentlemen doing?
Very,
Good.
very
Thanks for
well.
having.
That's a very good
Thanks for having me,
pronunciation.
guys.
Well done.
Yeah.
I
Super
tried
excited
my,
to be here.
I
He's
tried
probably
my
spent
best.
30 minutes looking up those
I
names.
practiced his last name, so I was like, "This is tough for us." I'm
Yeah,
a New Yorker.
it is a
I
tough
was
one.
struggling.
It is a tough one.
I was like, "I hope I don't
He
butcher
looked
this."
up
So I got,
looked up YouTube videos of pronouncing names.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I got a shout out. I got a shout out.
He sounded
Ace.
like Dora the Explorer trying to pronounce it.
Because I'm glad y'all calling me out. I actually, you know who, you know who I actually had to reference, who actually helped was AC Bongos. You did Adam. You did an interview with him for Planet of Lana
Mm.
1 at Gamescom, and he's the only person I've heard successfully say your last name. So I
And
was like, if you didn't correct AC Bongos, I was like, I'm good.
you know what's funny?
That's so funny.
He also mispronounced it. They just got tired of correcting him, and you just did it too.
Could be. I could have been
Yeah.
wrong, but anyway, it's
Yeah,
a
it is. It is a very hard name to pronounce. So you did a very good job. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Much appreciated. Obviously, it's a pleasure to have you both in the realm. Your lords at what you do, so it's only right we give you the proper respect here at the Iron Lords round table. So just real quickly, I know you guys head down. This is launch week, as you know, as of recording. So have you had a chance to play any other games during this period, or has it been heads down for both of you?
Oh, you mean during
Oh,
now up until the last couple of weeks? Oh man, no, I haven't. I've played one game, and that's been Planet of Lana 2. I played it with my kids. I played it with my girlfriend. They all got to play it. So yeah, that's the
Okay.
game I've been
That's
playing.
it. That's the game. I got you. Klaus, what
Yeah.
about you, man? You've been playing
I've
anything? Have
been,
you had a chance?
yeah. Surprisingly, yeah. I think it's just because I'm so sick of Planet of Lana 2 that I had to like jump on. So I think, nah, can't get sick of it. Can't get sick of the game. No, but I've been dabbling a little bit actually. I'm almost like surprised myself. Like I've played a couple hours of Can, which I'm really enjoying
Okay.
so far.
That game looks insane.
I did yesterday for some reason I started playing. I played the Dispatch demo because I was really curious about that. I
Ooh, I gotta play that.
completely missed that when it came out. Yeah, I got Resident Evil sitting in the library waiting, and what else? Oh yeah, I started Kingdom Come Deliverance too for some reason. I've just been like playing
Let's
like little
go.
bits like here and there.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Shout out to our
research
good
phase, you know.
research phase.
Yeah.
Yes. Shout out to our good
How about
friends.
you guys?
Oh yeah,
What are you
Attic.
playing?
Attic, you start off. What you been playing?
I beat Resident Evil the day before yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm playing through the. I'm going to start playing through the original Fallout's here soon for some content. So I'm going to jump into those here relatively soon. I am going to go back to Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Great
I
game.
played that demo of Echo Generations. Played that too.
Nice.
So-
Echo Generations 2. Yep, Steam Fest.
And I don't even think I'm making content on that.
Mhm.
So
No doubt.
We'll see what happens.
No doubt.
Nice.
Yeah, for me, obviously, as of recording, just playing this cool game called Planet of Lana 2, which is
Yeah, let's
amazing.
go.
We got that. Obviously, it was Marathon Server Slam last week, so I wanted to
Oh
touch
yeah, I
that,
played that too.
right? And then
How was it?
Well, I gave them some feedback. I like it, but there is some feedback that they have to address as far as our UI and stuff that I want to give them. But I do think it's probably the extraction shooter for me, just because of the art style. It's kind of like sci-fi Blade Runner kind of stuff, and there's some cool things they are doing in the space. And then the last thing is what Attic mentioned as well. Resident Evil just started, the Requiem and how beautiful that game is. So there's a lot of cool games out right now at the same time. But yeah, that's pretty much been it for us. But we're done with intros. I want to kind of get the focus back to you two in reference to just brief video game system history and kind of like the course that led you to Wishfully Studios. So, Lord Ab, let's start with you first. What are some of the first video game systems you had, and what got you into gaming?
Yeah. Did you ask me? Sorry.
Yes, Adam.
Yes. So, I mean, what got me into gaming? I mean, I started with, Super Mario on the NES, and on the Nintendo, and then my dad got us an Amiga 500, and on that I played Another World, and
classic.
a lot of classics. Cannon Fodder. Do you remember that game?
Yeah,
Are you old enough?
Wow. Yeah, we dating ourselves.
There was so many classic good games there. So that brought me into gaming, and then Another World, and then later Flashback kind of brought me into cinematic platformers.
Beautiful.
And then with Oddworld as well for PlayStation 1, I really fell in love with cinematic platformers, I would say. But I've been such a avid consumer of games since I was a kid, and started making games when I was around like 12, 13 in like Games Factory and all those kind of engines, and then it went on with Flash. Me and Klas, I mean, we grew up together, so we've known each other since we were 12.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, cool.
In a small town in Sweden, and so we actually made games when we were teenagers together as well. And I remember being over at Klas' house, and he had Photoshop on his PC, so he showed me, and we did like these Star Wars posters where we basically just took images from the internet, just overlaying them with a little bit of opacity. It was so cool. Never seen anything like it. And that was basically it for me. I mean, then it was like a path of creativity on the computer after that. And then, kind of stumbled into animation and illustration, did a lot of exciting stuff and films and stuff. And then after school, that's what I went into. So I was working with motion graphics and animated commercials and documentaries and stuff like that. And Klas, he went to New Zealand to go to film school, and then we reconciled when we were like 8 years after, something like that, when we were like 27. And then we started a film production company, and we ran that for a couple of years before this idea for Planet of Lana came up. And it was basically also, I mean, it all started, back in 2010, with the indie era of, Limbo and Braid and Fez and all those games. When you finally started thinking, okay, with this digital distribution stuff, you can actually make games now, even if you're not a studio of like 100 people, So that's when the idea really started brewing, and maybe we can have a shot at this. But I really, working in the commercial animation space with a lot of annoying clients, to be honest, where you can never do what you want fully. So I kind of just, I was kind of sick of it. I got my first kid, and I was like 30, and I thought, I want to take everything I've learned since I was a kid, creatively, and just try to make games, And then I came up with this idea for Planet of Lana. I drew the first concept art for it back in 2017 with like the base idea. And then I worked on it like on weekends and evenings, and I just thought there was something there this time. I had like several game ideas over the years, but nothing that I, you start and then you never finish them or whatever. But this time I thought, it was something special there that I wanted to really see through. So I made a decision I'm going to finish this, even I'm going to learn programming myself and just do this thing. But luckily, I managed to convince Klas to jump on board as
a good friend.
co-game
This Klaus guy,
director and
he's a good
writer.
friend.
He's a very good friend, yeah. And at that point, I mean, there was nothing to show for it except for like a couple of concept arts. So yeah, that's kind of how it started. And then we formed the studio in 2018. And then we went around, pitched to a lot of publishers, and didn't have salaries and worked side jobs. And then in 2020, we signed with Xbox, and we could get started. And then we signed with Thunderful. So that's a very compressed kind of brief history.
No, it was great. It was great. I mean, obviously the journey, listening to you guys, as far as I didn't know you guys were, grew up kind of together. Like, that's awesome. So you got that. And then obviously, the career, and then still kind of this game idea kind of in your head, still wanting to kind of bring that into fruition, and then moving it forward. And obviously Klaus comes in and you kind of reconnect it, and then, kind of get this thing out. From Klaus' standpoint, I just wanted to get from your video game system history. Like, what are the games that kind of inspired you?
Well, yeah, definitely the NES, like the original, like, just Super Mario, pulling my hair out, playing Ninja Turtles, like the first Ninja Turtles game.
Oh, that was brutal.
It was most difficult, still the hardest game ever made, I think. Love that. But I have so many like weird, like scattered memories as well. Like, my mom was a journalist, and I would like come to work with her sometimes, and she had like the old Macintosh, like, like a really old Apple computer. I don't want to, can't remember which, if it's Apple One or whatever.
Oh, you were
like
talking that Apple IIe era with the
Apple
floppies and
IIe,
3.5 for the. Trust me, we in the same pocket age. We not that far.
You remember that the game with the helicopter where you had to like drop the man on the cart?
Oh, what, Choplifter?
Yeah.
Oh, I love me some Choplifter. Oh, yeah. I remember that game. Wow, that's a throwback. Yes.
And it had the original Prince of Persia on it as well, which was like a game changer. But yeah,
classic.
Yeah, and then it's like it kind of went from there. Obviously, when the first PlayStation came out, that was like a complete game changer. Playing on like Wipeout, all those things, I remember, was just massive. And then like culminating, I think, like peak gaming for me in like, rosy, shimmery nostalgia vibe is like, 97, 98, like Final Fantasy 7 first, and then like Metal Gear Solid after that. Those were like some like core memory stuff of like, and that, I think that's there's such good examples of like storytelling in video games as well, and where it like really started to come into its own as a storytelling medium. So those left a big impression, I think. And yeah, and then kind of like Adam said, and then it just like, evolved from there. So and obviously I've come, like Adam said, we both come from like a bit of a film and animation background as well. And I think I sort of after that initial period, and like maybe like a little bit later as well, of like more into the later 90s, I got more on like a film trip, and like getting older and like choosing a profession. That was sort of where my creative aspirations went. And when Adam like approached me about writing Planet of Lana potentially, I think it was like, at first I was feeling like really insecure about it, like like, I'm a film guy, or like, this and that, and I've never really written anything this long before. But I think that once we got started, it's like straight away you sort of feel like, well, I know storytelling and I know this medium, like I grew up with this, I love this so much. And it was like really nice to remember that, and finding my way back to video games like through making them again. And now having rekindled that love affair, it's a very nice feeling. So yeah, I'm very grateful to, like Adam said, like, no more clients for now anyway. We'll see how it goes.
Hey, this did you live in a dream, brother, right? Get away from the, the secular job, and the dream obviously is to do what you're kind of doing now, right? And be able to sustain yourself and, and be profitable. That's the part that I think developers in my eyes, and me and Attic, we've talked about that. I think you guys are the heroes because that is a sacrifice, right? To take a shot and go for it. And we all need to pay the bills. We all want
Yeah.
things to be successful, right? It's difficult, right? It's out here. So I think you guys to me are courageous because it's following your passion, but obviously the risk and stuff. So you got that. You get to the business side, you get obviously Wishfully. And how many in the team about total as far as Wishfully is concerned?
So yeah, we're around like 20, 25, depending
Okay.
on like where we are in production. Yeah.
Got you. So that conceptually, you have the idea. You're like, hey, Klaus, I want you, to rock with me on this and narrative and story and all that good stuff. So I guess my question is, from the business side, like, you then go to Thunderful, or is it Xbox at that point? Who comes in and sees it, and then it starts to go with Planet of Lana 1?
I mean, so with Planet of Lana 1, because I mean, most of us have never, done a video game before. It was much later when we took in like a programmer that had experience, but like the founders, we've never made any games professionally. And it was just, uh, diving into the deep end of an industry that like we didn't know anything about. So we went into it I can't speak for myself, but I went into it very naively, which I think was very good.
What you don't know, what you
And
don't know.
yeah, and very confident also, like that we had something great. And then I remember, so after that, like first year of me working alone, and then Klas came on board and some other people, and then I went to this like a first gaming conference because we were part of like this incubator here in Sweden that kind of, they couldn't help us financially, but they could help us going to game shows, and so we could pitch the games, for publishers. We went on our first small game conference here in Sweden, and we pitched the game. We basically had concept art and a very early prototype. And we got bashed by publishers because back then it was more, yeah, it was more retro inspired then, and like there was this grand vision of this epic adventure of Planet of Lana, but then the prototype, because we had a programmer on halftime, and it was frame by frame animations, and just the prototype wasn't good enough, like technically, and so we got bashed then, and then we kind of reconciled, and then decided, we're going to go for this 2.5D look instead. We're going to have 3D characters, so we can have much more, fluid animations and and responsive controls, and then creating this more immersive world that we ended up with, where it feels like a concept art hand painted world, but it still has this depth, that you really can be immersed and feel that you're part of it. So yeah, but I know, just rambling, but
No,
we
you good.
pitched the game. We pitched the game for 2 years, and there was just so many ups and downs during that period. And looking back, I mean, it was like we had like a 3-year long pre-production, which
Okay.
is insane, but it was so good for us because since we had side jobs, like, I mean, we wanted to make this happen, but the pressure was not immense because, we could still try things out. And then, finally we managed to build a vertical slice that we pitched. But I mean, we pitched this game for 2 years straight, and we went to
Wow.
all the game conferences. And
Okay.
so yeah, I mean, it's tough out there being an indie
Yeah.
studio, and especially like having a big vision for your first game. And we also had this idea, that we didn't want to do like a reveal of like a bigger reveal of with a trailer and stuff until we had signed with someone. So we wanted to get into like a big gaming show or something like that. And that's what we did. In the end, we revealed at Summer Game Fest, Planet of Lana for the first time back in, when was this, Klas? That was like 2021 or something.
Yeah,
I think it was 2021.
yes,
because
yes. You're correct. Yeah.
So that was insane. So I mean, it's been a long journey. Another like anecdote I can just say also, which is because you met Takeshi Furukawa as well at Tokyo Game Show. But
Legend.
I mean, yeah, and it's kind of funny, the story of how he came to be the composer of the project, because on that very first conference where we got bashed by publishers, there was this journalist from the Daily Mirror in the UK. It was
I think
came
it's
over to
actually
Sweden.
the Mirror. I think it's just the Mirror.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Daily Mirror. So just jumping in because the Daily Mirror is
Maybe.
like
Okay.
gossip rag.
Little guy. Okay. So they wrote something about Planet Lana, what they saw. Or
Yeah,
like,
they had like a game section, and then I pitched the game to him, and we basically only showed like this concept art, that first concept art that I talked about, that like fired off the whole project, and some other concept arts, and talked about the game, and he liked it and published this article about it. And then at the other side of the world, Takeshi Furukawa is scrolling the internet, sees this little article, and then contacts us and saying like, "Hey, I really like this vibe you got going. Do you have a composer for your game?" And it was so funny because I pitched the game back then like inside plus The Last Guardian in a Studio Ghibli universe, kind of was the elevator pitch. And so, of course, Takeshi Furukawa having written the music for The Last Guardian, it was just, insane that he reached out to us and asked us if. So yeah, it was really goosebumps, and it was
that email must have felt good.
Yeah, it did felt good, but it also felt like a hoax. It also felt.
Oh, you doing?
Like,
This dude got my email. This ain't
yeah,
you ain't
exactly.
Takeshi Furukawa.
No, exactly. So it actually took a while, and and then obviously we spoke, and then he followed the project, and we spoke, and then finally signed with him for when we started production in 2020. And
question. When it come to like pitching your game to like publish and stuff, what's the process to that? Do you feel like that is a process that that's hard to work with, or do you think people is like really open to seeing your game? Because I'm kind of curious on like what it's like being your perspective pitching to like these publishers and stuff.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I mean, without the incubator program that we were a part of, it would have been basically impossible, I think, for us, or not impossible, but very, very hard, because that allowed us to go to these game conferences, and then at least we could be, trying to schedule meetings because where the hell do you get an email to these big publishers? And yes, they have forums on their websites and stuff, but a lot of times you don't even get an answer on that. And so I mean, it's tough, and I think also in part it's that grind of keep showing up at the game conferences, or just pitching them, and they'll see like, okay, you're here this year as well, and you keep working on this game, and you're making progress, and they see that you're not just this one-off idea that you're trying, and they see that you're serious about it. Because I mean, from their perspective, it's really hard when we hadn't made a game before, so how the hell should they know that we can finish this thing? It was a really ambitious project, for a debut game. So you really need to take a leap of faith as a publisher as well. So I totally understand them, and they get pitched so many games all the time. But it's very hard when you haven't done anything else in the games industry before to show for. But yeah, it was a grind, and it took a long time, and but now we're here.
No doubt. So real quickly, I mean, this is amazing stuff because you're really breaking down the process and the struggle it is, to really pitch. You're working hard on something, and then obviously emotionally, you get told the initial, vertical slice of version that you had of it before it was 2.5D. They're like, hey, that's not it. And you get kind of slammed, which will break the confidence of a lot of people trying to pitch a game, right? So then you come back to the drawing board. So I guess what was the aha moment, as like King would say, which would be like, when is it Xbox or Thunderflash says, okay, this is it. We want to invest. Like, what's the moment, and who was involved with that?
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, the aha moment. I mean, we were very close with several publishers. I mean, some publishers just straight up didn't believe in the project, of course, and then you have those that really love the project, but still, it's a long way for someone to really like the project and actually signing it. And it was really when we signed with Xbox, this exclusivity deal with them.
Okay.
That opened up things, because then we had Xbox believing in the project, right? And
Got it. And
to
I'm
get in
assuming this is.
contact with,
I'm sorry. I'm just not to cut you, but I'm assuming this is ID at Xbox reaching out to you, or
yeah,
got it. Okay. Mhm.
no, they didn't reach out to us. So it was funny because there we had another developer that I got to know on over Twitter, and he was signed with Xbox, so he gave us the correct email to basically reach out and
Okay.
gave a good word for us. So
I think I know
that
who
was
that
really
is.
really nice. And that was really really nice. And yeah, that was really what opened up. And I should say, like, when our vertical slice was done, and when we started pitching, this was in 2020. COVID just hit. We were about to go to GDC and pitch the vertical slice and everything, and then, like, just 1-2 weeks before there, COVID hit.
Wow.
And yeah, so that would also messed things up for us, in that whole process. But yeah, that was I think that was the aha moment for us, that kind of opened up more discussions with more publishers after that.
No, that's awesome, man. Again, salute to the resilience. Love to hear these stories behind the scenes. And I think a lot of gamers don't realize how difficult it is to really get that recognition for a game that you've been working on, you put your passion on. But I want to transition right into the main event, what we're here for, man, which is, again, Planet of Lana 2, Children of the Leaf. One of the things, our interview in Tokyo, I'll be honest with you, I think I told you guys this, like, I was pleasantly surprised that this game got a sequel. The first Planet of Lana means so much to me. Obviously you talked about your history as far as like games that inspired you, Adam, as far as like, Inside, and first of all, Out of This World, which is, I think me and you share that. Like, I think Eric Chahi is like, he's everything to me, you know what I'm saying? And I remember playing that game and was blown away because it is one of those things, it's atmospheric storytelling without really saying words. And I think that's really cool. So, and obviously the environment and all that stuff, but Planet Alana's one, first of all, was very satisfying to me. You had the co-op, control. You have this amazing companion, and without spoiling, I got emotional at the end of this game. I was like, this is really special. Obviously the thing about humans and machines, and at that point, I'm like, okay, the conflict is resolved. Great, you wrapped the bow on it. Amazing game. I learned, obviously, discovered it through Game Pass. So I guess the question now is, okay, for part two, like, you kind of explained in our interview that you still have more things on the cutting floor, but like, how long did you start from the development after one ended to say, okay, two? And I'm assuming part one did well for you to get to part two.
Yeah, it did. And I mean, we've had over 1 million players of Planet of Lana 1, and we're so happy for that. And I mean, there's a lot, we've got so much love and support after the release of that game. And but we were very very focused on making a second game. And we started straight away. I mean, we released the game in May, and we started working on Planet of Lana 2 in August of 2023. So we went right into it. And I think, I mean, maybe you can talk about that, Klas, also, how during the writing process, also how we discovered that the world was too big for one game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely already during the writing, where you start like coming up with like all these little backstory things and that, but even like going into production as well, and like as art gets added in, like there's just these little details that you put into the world as like color or flavor to tell the story of the lore, and like the story of the people of this planet and these robots, and like where do they come from, how do they connect. So we just had like a lot of questions throughout the whole production process, really, that needed answering. And it was a couple of just like little details that was put in to help tell this backstory that really like sparked the whole sort of I guess main story of Planet of Lana 2. So some things that you come across only for a brief moment in the first game, but that are really significant in the second game. So yeah, it's building a big world, and then like just being really keen to explore more of it. I think
That's
was a
awesome.
good way to do it.
Well, I'm glad y'all did well. I love that I said a sequel's coming. We got Children of Leaf, and obviously we, me and Addict's been playing it. We've got new tribes, deeper lore. You know what I'm saying? I've noticed right off the bat. Lana, she's got more agility, a couple more things she could do, and obviously Mui has a lot of new abilities as well. So, what was some of the kind of like what were the things that you implemented in Children of Leaf that you were what was most fun to design for? Like, what was the most fun thing that you was like, yeah, okay, we like this aspect of this game that we implemented in Lana 2? What's some of the most fun ones?
You want to go, Adam, or should I?
Yeah, I can go. There's so many things that we wanted to do in Planet of Lana 1, right? That we didn't have time to put in there. And it was our first game, and there was just making puzzle games is not an easy task. So hard getting the difficulty right and challenging enough. And if you go too easy on the puzzles, you get bored, and it's that delicate balance. And so that was definitely something that we wanted to make the puzzles and gameplay a bit more challenging in the sequel, and more fun and varied. And it was so nice when we opened up the ability for Lana, to point Mui all across the screen, which now in retrospect seems like, why the hell did we do that for? But it makes a lot of sense, and it opens up for bigger puzzles and better collaboration. So that was really nice that it just clicked, when we tested it. And then obviously, as I said, Lana being more agile is also very welcome. That she can run faster and jump better and swim underwater. So you can now
Yes.
discover the depths of Novo. And then taking control over these creatures, and that they now have some offensive abilities, that Mui can jam some robots, some machinery, and that you can interact with, and that you can gain control over these fun creatures that you come across on Novo. And big kudos to our game designers, Don Fax and Christian Enforce. Don being the lead game designer and Christian the senior game designer. They've done just such a brilliant job on the puzzle design for the game. And we've learned so much and matured as a team also. And just the importance of constantly iterating and testing and iterating. And yeah, I'm very happy with the end result.
No, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I think for me it was like that creature interaction, like that Adam touches on. Like, for context, for people that don't know, it's like basically there are all these like animals all over all over the Novo that you can sort of like, when you get to a new biome, you explore, you find a creature, and then Mui sort of hypnotizes it, and player gets full control over it, and you have to figure out what kind of special abilities that creature has, and like how you use that to manipulate the environment and stuff like that. Because I think that was one of the big sticking points of like, one of the big things and feedbacks we got from Planet of Lana 1 as well, that there are all these like little creatures visible throughout the world that people sort of wanted to interact with, like these little fluff balls like stuck in cages and stuff like that. And like,
with the eyes.
And there was a lot of like, oh, can I pet that? Can I do that? Can I interact with that? So I think that was it was huge to sort of be able to let players in a little bit more to those kind of quirks of Novo.
I got to give y'all some funny feedback, because in reference to, I feel like you guys have no problem sacrificing little creatures for the greater good. In my opinion, like there are a lot of creatures I'm like, okay, this is a cool ability, I like what do, but in order for us to get through with Lana and Mui, you're gonna have to die for this puzzle to get some. Did the team kind of have fun with especially like the little the ones with the eyes, and they kind of
roll, the roller.
The roller, and then they
called.
paint the thing, what I'm saying? I thought those were hilarious. Like, did you guys like laughing out loud with some of this stuff, some of these creatures you created?
Yeah, for sure. We had a good time. Good time. Yeah, they are cute. But I think there's some lore stuff there as well, with like, especially with the rollers, that there's this sort of life cycle that's very what do you say, gray, that we don't know, like, do they reincarnate, do they come back? Like, there's this very fluid sort of life cycle there. I think that we hope isn't too brutal, and that players can get around. But yeah, no, it was really fun thinking of, you know,
It's awesome.
all the different creatures that and what they could do and how they could interact with the world in different ways. Like,
Love them, love the fish. There's so many you can do. And again, you can see the expansion. Shout out to you guys and whoever implemented petting Mui consistently. We're a fan. We love that. Now I got to talk to you, Klaus, specifically because in my opinion, which is a huge part of the game that makes me smile, is what I consider the Lana language, right? And it's so cool because again, it's telling the story without really speaking in English or, you know, any known language, but you've got this awesome dialect, these awesome animations, and you're telling this story. So it's like, how did you pull this off? You know what I'm saying? It was like, oh, and, you know, just communicating with Mui sounds amazing. It sounds adorable. It sounds cool. Like, tell me about the Lana language and how did your team come up with this?
Yeah, so it was very much a mechanic driven. Like originally, the characters weren't gonna communicate at all. Like even Lana and Mui, like Lana was just gonna sort of whistle and like make noises to Mui, but we found quite quickly like, no, we need some sort of audio feedback for players to, like, you know, understand what they're saying. So really the language started with those 4 phrases that you give Mui, so like come, stay, you know, push this button, or like perform this action and go here. And it just kind of grew from there. I think like when last time I counted now in my little glossary thesaurus, whatever, is like, it's over 300 words now, something. Wow. I think, and like in the first game it was just 100 and something. So it's like, it's nearly tripled in size for the second game, because there is a lot more. We did want to push that aspect of it. Like we did want to tell a bit more of a complex story and just see how much we could push, you know, an actual dialogue scene with like dramatic tension of like, you know, 2 people talking to each other, but like you don't understand what they're saying, but like you sort of infer from, you know, the music, the animation, because we really like, we're quite masochistic. Like we even
yes,
like, you know, we didn't even give ourselves facial expressions to work with. Like it really is like everything falls on the music, the animation, and the tone of voice, and these wonderful voice actors that we have. So it's all these elements, I think, that come together and it's like I've said before, it's, if you remove, like, it's show don't tell, right? So if you remove your own ability to show to tell, then you have to show and really think about, you know, what it is that you're showing and what every noise, every tone, every movement means. So it is, yeah, it's hard work, but I'm very glad that you think that it works and that it lands. So.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And I remember it distinctly in both games because, first of all, it sounds, you know, aesthetically pleasing, audibly pleasing to hear, right? So you got that, and then obviously all the characters interacting with each other, stuff like that, and I'm still able to understand, okay, this is what they're doing. But with the commands and stuff, I really appreciate how you utilize in the puzzles, because there are times when obviously Lana and Mui are under threat. There's, you know, surveillance cameras, there's beasts, and you have to hide. But what I really appreciate, shout out to you guys and the sound team, is there are times when Lana will say, Mui, hola. Like she'll bring her voice down to match the intensity of the situation. And it's just a cool interact, just those little subtle things. I think you guys really nailed that. And I want to give you guys credit for that. Yeah, absolutely.
That's really nice to hear. Thank you for that. And I think you're on something there as well with, like, you know, because cutscenes is one thing and that whole thing, but the connection that players feel to Mui and to Lana, I think it really is coming out of that core loop of, like, you know, like them communicating in gameplay and like being in that moment, whether it's tension or just running through a beautiful meadow with like nice music and communicating with each other. That really is where the emotional connection happens. And yeah, the language was very, very necessary for that to happen. And like it's also like just writing the language, like realizing how musical language is. So like, you know, that the melody of it is so important. Like the process has very much been like, you know, I could sit down, like writing a list of like, just, okay, this word could mean that, that word could mean that. But it's not until you actually write some lines of dialogue, like put to get stuff together in an actual sentence, that you realize how rhythmical and like how melodical language is. And I'm getting into the weeds here now, but just because you brought it up.
No, I love it because I think it's amazing. So I'm glad you shows your passion for it. No, this is great.
It's good. But yeah, and then you start like you start tweaking it based on like, oh, okay, so well, those two words, they're in its, you know, grammatical structure, they're going to be used together quite a lot, but they don't actually sound that good together. So I'll have to go back and like change that. It becomes like this little puzzle. It's just a lot of fun, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I had a blast doing it. It's like,
was there ever like a time where you guys had to like, okay, maybe this puzzle a little too hard, we had to downplay this a little bit? Was there a time like where you were concerned that you was gonna like go over people's heads, so you had to like tone stuff down?
Definitely, several times. Yeah, definitely. Oh, there's a cat in the background there. Not that.
Yeah, we got our boy. He's making our debut. That's Fred. That's Fred.
Welcome.
Nice
to meet
me alone.
You know it's time that we're going to talk about Bowie. Fred knows what's about to happen.
I just always before we leave the language, just got to say that we have like this a DLC supporter pack coming with Planet of Lana 2, where we're actually having on Steam, where you get this little language companion where you can deep down a little bit more into the language, together with like a beautiful art book that shows off all the very, very nice artistry of our team. So just wanna give a little
okay. Well, we like that. We like that. So we're gonna have like some language stuff, some artwork stuff in conjunction with it.
Yes, and some, you know, wallpapers and some other good stuff in there. So
I love that. Nice. Being that Fred is right on timing, Addict's cat. We got to talk about the star of the show here. Well, everyone knows it's Mui. We know it's the star. It's our favorite, our best girl. So I guess the question.
But answering that question. Yes, going back to that question.
Oh yeah, the puzzle. Sorry, yes.
Yeah, and I mean there were whole areas that we scrapped for Planet of Lana 2 and for Planet of Lana 1 as well. But for Planet of Lana 2, once we had like a first version of everything, you know, that's when you really feel, you know, the pacing and, you know, does this work together, and you do a lot of external testing and stuff like that. And then we had to rearrange stuff and, you know, cut whole sections which had very good puzzles and everything, but, you know, it just, you know, overstayed its welcome or slowed down the pacing in, you know, the storytelling too much. And so there's a lot of those decisions. And for puzzles, for sure, I mean, when we test puzzles, it's so easy thinking like, oh, well, this puzzle should be quite obvious. Like you just do this and this and that. But it's so, that's why it's so hard, because it's very hard envisioning how players are actually going to interact with your game and with your puzzles, right? And then people have so different abilities of solving puzzles as well. You know, how your brain is wired, basically. So yeah, that's definitely a big challenge.
A good call out, and especially in Planet of Lana 2, because obviously you've ramped up the amount of things you could control at once, right? So sometimes you got Lana, and then it's okay, you know, Mui also now is controlling an animal. Lana's now manipulating something with the, you know, the armband kind of thing. And, you know, it is interesting that I'm assuming like player testing, or, you know, you're getting feedback as far as where people are getting stumped and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course. And at one point, I mean, we even had, you know, that you could have like 2 robots and 1 creature, you know, crazy things. And we realized quite quickly, you know, that was way too much for people. So yeah, you got to try stuff and just test and iterate. Yeah,
no doubt. So back to what I was saying, as far as the star of the show, which I feel is still Mui, you know, our best girl, you know, everyone's favorite. Now we got to end the debate. I feel Mui tends to lean more cat. I'm cat biased, but I feel like the Mui not being able, still disliking water, to me is very cat-like. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, just the agility of moving a cat to me. But I need you, if you can, because you're the developers, you made the game. I could be wrong. As Fred is excited about this conversation. He keeps coming up on Addict State. We're to talk about that. But so we got to ask, is Bowie
He
more?
doesn't do that a lot.
I know, because we talking about one of his friends. Is Bowie, in your opinion, more cat or more dog?
So, actually, when we're recording this podcast, I'm wondering if you can hear my cats because they're very loud. I have 2 cats at home here, and they're like
You
so
good?
loud outside the door, and
No, I don't hear anything. You're
very
good. You're good.
communicative. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so that's maybe that's like answer enough for you. I mean, I grew up with cats, and she's she's a fantasy creature, and she's somewhere in between like a cat, monkey, and a dog, maybe, or something like that. But she's her own breed, but she's definitely more influenced by cats, I would say.
Okay.
It's the agility, and yeah.
Yeah.
It's that
But
dream,
he's so
having
obedient.
yeah,
He's
it's
too
no, but
obedient to
True.
be a
That's
cat.
a good call out. Yeah.
But
Klaus is
it's
right. Dog lovers will come back with that. Sorry, get at him.
No. Get out of here, because it's the dream. It's the dream of having your cat being obedient, which they never
That
are.
is a
But
dream.
it is that pipe dream, and then you have to do a video game about it. That's
I
it.
love it.
You heard it here first, folks. The player fantasy of Planet of Lana is having an obedient cat.
There you go. It makes sense, though.
The absolute fantasy.
Addict, do you agree as a cat lover? Would you like to have Fred to be able to sit, Oli, do all that stuff with Fred? Do you agree with this statement?
I actually really enjoyed that mechanic because, like, at first it was a little confusing to like figure out when, like, I realized that like the logo tells you when like he's sitting or not. But I really enjoyed like that. First off, that it's got to be a cat because that thing could jump.
Yeah, the height.
It can
That's
get
where
some
the
distance.
cat comes in.
It can get some distance. Yeah, but I really enjoyed that aspect of the game.
Yeah, I think Klaus, you answered it correctly though. It is a little bit of balance, even though I'm biased as a cat lover, as Adam is. But I do think that we all wish we could tell our cat just to stay and listen, because cats are so independent; they do what they want. But this is a fun discussion.
Yeah.
So I want to move on to. We got a couple more questions in reference to. You kind of touched on it earlier as far as the music, right? Obviously, the legend, Takeshi Furukawa comes in, and obviously he's fortunate to interview both of you. You tell us this great story where he finds this, the imagery or the document in the mirror, and reaches out to you guys, say, hey, do you guys have a composer and all that stuff? So, for me, music is very important in video games. They clown me. I'm the guy that go to the gym and I'll have video game music playing. I'm one of those guys, right? So the thing about Planet of Lana that is amazing to me, I always feel a great game has this. And it's what I call the reoccurring musical thing. Was that I forgot? It's a light motif. It's a word for it, where that doom 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 doom. Mm-hmm. That gets me every time I hear that. I go somewhere, but I feel something. So I guess, what was it like working with the legend? Obviously, he hit you up for the first time. You guys worked together, right? What was it like now coming back for the sequel? And then the question I have for both of you is there ever a time, even though he's a legend, he's amazing, make this amazing score, is there times where you're like, okay, this song or this score right here doesn't fit what we're trying to do with this biome or narrative? Do you ever get a chance to push back at a legend during the creative process of marrying the music to the game?
Absolutely, yeah. That I mean, usually he just knocks it out of the park on the first try, but I mean, especially in this game, and because it is a bit more of a complex story, and those like undertones, like all that subtext that has to come through, is very hard for someone external to get all of that. Like, I'm so in that, you know what I mean? I've been writing it, like I know exactly what we need to do, and it's very, very subtle. And Takeshi will tell you as well. I have strong opinions about music because I love, much like yourself, Barry. I love music, and especially video games music, and they're there's a dialogue, I would say, like, that goes between narrative and this, and like that could come down to like melody, it could come down to like just scale, it can come down to individual instruments and stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, like it's always good. Like whatever he sends, is like it's always prefaced with like, this is freaking amazing, but for this maybe particular scene, could we try something a little bit more like this, or like, so that's it's definitely a collaborative process, even though obviously the man does what he does and he does it good.
Oh yeah, that's Last Guardian. That is man. He's a legend, and again, it's just so. I mean, I always feel the side of a good game. As I have like an unwritten rule, Adam, which is like the title screen. If a game has an amazing title screen theme, or like I always like, okay, this is. I feel like I'm already going to be playing something that's very high quality for some reason, because I feel like that's an attention to detail. But yeah, moving through it. Just a couple last things in reference to, obviously, Lana is one of the games that has a lot of secrets. In this game that continues. So Adam, like, is there anything? If we get all the secrets, do we get any additional deep lore or information if we get all of them?
Yeah, you definitely do. I mean, as in Planet of Lana 1, if you find all the secrets, you get a little bit more information on stuff. So I without spoiling, but yeah, we like to keep it that way, so it's not just points or anything like that, but it's actually deepens the lore and yeah. So yeah,
Okay.
you definitely
Right.
do that. And then of course, I mean, it's the other secrets that's not like tied to achievements, which is if you are a more attentive player, since we are telling the story through, as Klas said, without words and through environment, and through all these things, if you are more attentive, and you will get more out of it, I would say. But I mean, we're totally fine also with people enjoy the game for different reasons. Some are more focused on the puzzles and the gameplay, and others are super into all that lore and history and all that. So, and now this time around we have like a journal, which you noticed since you played, where you get more kind of Lana, saving the memories of things you've seen, and you can which also makes it a bit easier than in the first game to piece things together at the end of the game, which is nice.
Nice. No, that's really cool, man. I love that type of stuff. Super dope. And just kind of making sense of what's happening. You know what I'm saying? I think that's always awesome. Again, because you're not like distinctly telling, I mean, you're explaining something, but it's also up to our interpretation, I feel, to kind of make sense of what happens, because it's a huge conflict. Obviously, the first game, machines, humans, all this good stuff. And then now I feel like we're diving a little deeper. There's more mystery here. There's more subtlety here. And again, without spoiling for those who are going to be listening to this recording, I think it's really cool that you guys are doing that. And then the last thing, obviously we're getting close, right? As a recording, probably this will go out right at launch. Game is on all platforms. It's Game Pass again, which I'm super proud of you guys to get that, because that's how I discovered the game. If you could disclose, if you can't, you can't. But I'm assuming, as far as the structure, because a lot of people have a question as far as like the structure of a deal, and as far as a Game Pass deal, is it similar to the first one, or is it different? I know I'm pocket watching, but I have to ask.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't comment on that, but I can comment on just how much it's meant for us with the collaboration with Xbox. As I said, those were the first guys that really believed in Planet of Lana 1, and they've been so supportive over all these years and over both games. And yeah, being a small indie studio, it's really, really hard, breaking through the clutter. There's so many good games and so many games getting released. And being on Game Pass and getting that exposure, and getting people to try the game, because you reach players that might have not bought it, but when it's on Game Pass, they try it and then they like it, and then you discover a new type of game you didn't think you would like. And yeah, it just expands the player base a lot. And yeah, we're so happy about that, and very grateful for all the support we've got from
No,
and keep getting from Xbox.
No, that's awesome. And I also think this game would be perfect on Switch too. I'm a person that loves, handhelds and stuff like that. I've been playing on my ROG Ally, which I feel is optimized very well. That's another thing. But Switch 2, I feel it's a perfect home. Can you comment on Xbox Play Anywhere? Because it's a feature I use a lot. And, I think it's really cool that I can go from, my Xbox or my PC, and then I can pull out my ROG Ally and I can continue the adventure of Lana. Is that something that Thunderful handles, or is it something that, you guys get involved with as far as the Play Anywhere aspect of Planet Lana?
No, yeah, no, we've. I mean, it's kind of built into the back end. So as far as, I mean, I'm not the most technical person at the office, I should say, but as far as I know, it's been quite a smooth process enabling that for Planet Lana, both 1 and 2, and yeah, a breeze to work with the development kits and everything like that for the Xbox. And yeah, as you said, I mean, Planet Lana, it's really great playing on like a 4K TV on PlayStation 5, but it's also very nice. I mean, I like both experience, but I like handheld as well. On the Steam Deck or the ROG Ally or Switch 2.
Going into the sequel was like the mindset that you're going to be playing this handheld more like a frequent thought process?
No, I wouldn't say so. I mean, there's so many details, and the art style, and I think also that the artistry has been, uh, you know, we've been leveling up for the sequel, and we've have. It's funny because you have these fans of Planet Lana 1, and then all of a sudden they work on Planet Lana 2, and they bring their artistry and just raise the quality, and it's been so great, working with the team and all the artists that really done such a great job. But I think yeah, we haven't designed it for handheld or more of the big screen, making it look really really good on a 4K TV, and then obviously making sure UI scales well, and that it's a great experience on handheld as well. Yeah.
Yeah, well said, well said. Especially with accessibility fonts, that kind of stuff. Yeah, there's definitely a
Yeah.
different mindset. But I love that. Like I said, it plays well. I know you're getting the right close to launch, and then I guess the elephant in the room. Obviously, there's other releases around there. Bungie's Marathon is coming out, and I know that's different genre. It's PvP extraction. It's not what you guys are doing. But I was just curious, the mindset of a studio, a small indie studio. How do you, navigate releases? How does that work inside? Okay, when are we going to launch? Are you looking at the calendar and say, hey, we're confident here, we'll stay here? How much does that factor in for a smaller indie team to position a game for release?
It's definitely a factor. I mean, it's really a lot of strategy around that, and the final call for that is on our publisher Thunderful, but and also when you're doing a sim launch as we do on multiple platforms or all platforms as we are now, then it's not easy to change a date either, because you get a lot of support from platform holders, and there's a lot of other things locked in. So you need to decide, a couple of months back, and once you've decided, you kind of locked in. So that's you try to strategize as much as possible, and then you have your date, and you have to roll with that. But I mean, yeah, I think yeah, there are some other um, big games coming out on Thursday, but I still think that we're in a good position, and seeing a lot of hype, seeing a lot of media interest, and very excited for launch.
And a big feedback of one is like the first game as well was, it's a good like sort of break off game of like, just okay, I play these real like intense like shooters or like stuff, and it's a good like little almost like meditation session. It's like, oh,
Yes.
I'll play a couple hours of Lana and Mui to like find my way back to to sanity. And I'm sure that's gonna be the case for 2 as well. So folks, when you're sick of killing each other in marathon, just jump on the spaceship to Novo and See what all the fuss is about.
Exactly. There we go. We need that nice palate cleanse, relax ourselves, a
That's
little
the
bit
word,
more
yeah.
calming, less stress, especially after people play. I played your game after playing Resident Evil. I'm like, yes, I need to
Really
come
good.
down here. This is where I need this beautiful scenery.
Uh,
Novo looks beautiful.
Yeah,
I could deal with this.
I saw
that's a
someone.
contrast.
I saw someone that was playing Resident Evil, and every time they got scared, they looked up a YouTube video of kittens meowing.
Yeah, just pet Mooey, and life is better. But yeah,
Yeah,
salute to you
exactly.
guys on that. I know you navigate the release date. I love the demo. I love that you guys put the demo out to me. That showed confidence from the team. Thought the demo was great. And yeah, we're here, again. So final thing as far as like we're here, launch date, what can people do to support? And then what's potentially next if you hit another home run like you did with the first one? Any other things in projects may be cooking for Wishfully?
We do have other projects cooking, and for first, you can support us. You can follow us on social media. Just search for Planet of Lana on any social media, and we're gonna be there. And then of course, wishlist the game. But when this is out, it's released, so just buy the game straight
Just
up.
buy the game.
Why
It's
not
out on
even
all
buy the
platforms.
supporter pack? Learn the language.
Buy
I
a supporter
do.
pack.
I do have a question real quick in regarding wish listing, because I see a lot of, especially indie developers, smaller developers, like really pushing that. Like, how effective have you seen that in the long term of being like on someone's wish list? Is it like the notifications that like, because I don't really wish list too much because I'm not on Steam like that. Does it like inform them the moment the game comes out? Does it like inform them any kind of milestone with that game? Like, I'm kind of curious on like the priority of wish listing.
I mean, it is really important because I mean, it is that, as you said, it's like this like notification when the game goes, every time it goes on sale. You get a notification on your email that it's going on sale and stuff. So it is a really good communication with players, and it's hard reaching
Yeah,
players. So I mean,
and
that's
plus
why it's so good. Yeah.
I could see wish listing where it's like you're like the connection between you and the player. It's like sooner or later that gamer part of them going to lose. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're going to cave sooner or later.
yeah, that wish list.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that helps with discoverability and also salute to you guys with part one, which I was very surprised. Mobile, was there a demand that was like, hey,
Yeah.
this we would love to play this on our phone. I think Klaus, you
There
had a
was,
post.
I mean, there was actually, we had a lot of people reach out to us, that, there's a lot of people out there that doesn't have a console, they don't have a good, like a gaming PC or anything like that, and they still, fans of the game and wanted to play. So we saw a demand for it, and then, teamed up with Play Digits. They did such a good job on the port, and Planet of Lana 1 has been out on mobile, both Android and iOS since December. Been going really, really well. And the IP is expanding. The universe of Planet of Lana is expanding on that topic. We do want to keep expanding it. So
Oh, we like
yeah,
that.
and
We like wishfully expanding on stuff.
and I think, have you played through the game? Have you finished the
Yeah.
game?
I'm very
Yeah.
far. I would say that a lot of stuff for Anawa I have completed
Yeah.
as far as
Yeah.
things that she needs based on things that are
Yeah.
happening without spoiling. So I don't want to spoil too
Yeah.
much. It's the non-spoiler, but continue.
Yeah. But yeah, we do want to continue and expanding on the universe of Planet of Lana. I can say that. Yeah.
Nice. That's what we
Clark's
hear.
like, I got what I wanted.
That's what I wanted to hear. That's what he said, the magic words. No, this is awesome, man. Huge fan of this game. So proud of you guys. Obviously, as I've recorded, this will be out, Wishfully Studios, amazing small team, this beautiful game. It takes me back to, an era of games that I really like. And I feel like this is the evolution of it. This is now, this co-op companion and all this stuff. Now, we got this tradition that we do for all our guests when we set them out. There's going to be no pressure, but you have to do this. This is a rule in the Iron
No
Lords
pressure,
podcast.
but you have to do it.
But
That's literally contradicting.
I know, but it's a joke. So here's the thing. I need both of you, Lord Adam, Lord Klaus. I need your top 5 video games or franchises of
Ooh.
all time. You don't have to rank
Oh.
them, but you gotta say what are the 5. They could be just important to you. What are your
Oh
5?
my god.
Who's starting first?
Oh, that's the
Yeah, I
hardest
can
question.
start.
All right, Adam, I think you're ready. Let's go, Adam.
This is one of those questions that you should just decide on answers. So now it's gonna. I haven't. It's gonna be from the heart, and I probably gonna miss games. But I mean, Journey is a very nice game for me. I think
like that.
that was made an impact when that came out, because it was kind of a first in that kind of way it did things. I believe it was so much based on emotion and just cinematic, also storytelling in a very special way.
Okay, that Journey.
Inside,
Woo!
definitely I have to say that, because I think Inside has one of the best openings of a video game all times, hands down, for me.
Reanimal is pretty good too. That just came out. Reanimal.
Yeah, you want to try that too?
I really got to play that. It's on my list for sure.
Both of you could play it. It's co-op.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we should.
So we got Playdead's Inside. Great choice.
Yeah, and then Journey, and then it's 3 more games.
You said
it's so hard.
Come on, Klas. You said one of them earlier. But I got to talk to what me and you bonded in Tokyo over this damn game. Come on, Adam.
All right.
You know which game it is.
I'm gonna put Another World there.
There we go.
That's definitely it. Kind of brought me into cinematic platformers, so it definitely holds its place here. And then I could say, Red Dead Redemption, actually, because and this is something that me and Klas talked a lot about. But just riding into Mexico, hearing like Jose Gonzalez, that song, and that was like a very, very nice gaming moment for me.
One more.
And then as the last one, there's so many good games out there.
Game that meant
or
franchise.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with Metal Gear Solid 1 for PlayStation. As Klas said, that was also a game that really struck me when it came out. Such a good game.
Shout out to Kojima. Fantastic job. Klas, you're up. No pressure. Top 5 video games or franchises of all time for you.
Well, clearly the first one is that helicopter game on the Macintosh, like that we spoke about. Yeah, obviously. Classic design. No, I mean the absolute top. For me, the top is easy. Like Final Fantasy VII really like changed how I look at video games. It's just such a good game. Swearing in Church, I don't know, or like ultra purist, but I actually couldn't get through the remake because like so much of what I loved about it, and I think what I took into Lana as well is that, I mean, there are those limitations, and you do get to actually fill in a few gaps yourself because there are just these little like sort of low poly characters running around, so you get to project. And I thought seeing it too high res, and like it's true for the movies as well, that like the characters didn't gel so much with the way that I saw them in the first game. So like I rather go back to like the original game there. It's undefeated for me. It's like such a huge, I think I've played through it like at least 6 times, that game.
Me and Cog, we do a lot of debating back and forth whether or not it's a true, because I don't believe it's a remake and he believes it's a remake. That is the adaptation if I've ever seen one, and we love to go back and forth over that.
No, actually, I don't disagree. Our disagreement was more about categorization for game of the year. That's kind of where that's the only difference I got, because I was just like, okay, it's kind of based on the original thought.
I guess the reason I interpreted it that way is because I don't consider it a remake, so it's not in that thing.
I feel you. But to Klas's point, he's kind of like Hogue, where he considers the first one special, that they've deviated so much that he likes the purity of where they went with the first one. Am I correct, Klaus? Is that where you're going with it?
Yeah, that's right. And it's so personal, I think, like, you know what I mean? And this is like, I mean, it's not to say that it isn't a good game, or if I hadn't, if let's say, you know, if I played the remake first and like without having played the first game, it might have been the best game I've ever played. You know what I mean? It's just like some things just hold such a special place in your heart, where like obviously I've been craving the remake for years and years and years.
I get it.
But I think like once you play it and then you realize that, actually all I wanted was like the exact same game, just slightly better graphics.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I just wanted it in 16:9, and like, but I still wanted the, you know, the pre-painted like backgrounds and like, you know, all the things that I actually, it's so tricky. I mean, it is so emotional, and
I get it.
And
so that's one. We got Final Fantasy.
That's one. Yeah, sorry, long way to go. Metal Gear Solid, first one for me as well, like complete game changer of like, you know, bringing that cinematic vibe to video games, like just be like, oh, this actually is like a movie, you know, that I'm in. Huge moment, and they were quite close in time as well from memory. I can't remember what year would the first Metal Gear Solid. I want to say 98. I want to say 98, but I could be wrong. Anyway, what else? Like Adam, Red Dead. I mean, all the Rockstar games really. Like I love Grand Theft Auto as well.
You're
like
about to get that GTA 6 here soon.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we're all going to be there. Let's face it.
Exactly.
It's going to happen, and you know, good on them.
Yeah, good on them. Red Dead classic.
They work hard.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Red Dead, yeah. And I'm outing myself as a bit of a like a AAA guy here now, I feel like, but The Last of Us.
After the indie game of Red. After the indie game, Red Dead.
The indie game of
no, but that's what I mean. Like it's just AAA after AAA after AAA. But it's like, you know, we're talking all time here, but like for me, it is like obviously storytelling is such a huge part of it for me, and you got to mention The Last of Us for that as well. Like that was yet another notch of like what those other games like laid the foundation for. Like I think even, I mean, Red Dead, the open world, it's like it's just so immersion focused, and it's like it's a pure video game in that sense, as well as like being a really good story. But then what I felt like The Last of Us really did was that it really, for me, was the first game where exposition was more on like a really high Hollywood level, where there was so much subtext, and like, you know, they focus so much in the tech to like be able to do that, to be able to tell a more subtle story, which for obvious reasons I'm a really big fan of. How many is that? Is that 4?
I feel like 4. Yep. And we got one more. One more.
Oh God. One more franchise. I mean, I really like. Now I feel like I'm gonna beat myself up because I'm gonna think of like 50 other games tomorrow. But
when the next game that you come out, you come back, you'll be able to revisit this list.
Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna have to. Yeah, no, I just, and the last one I guess would be like Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of Yotei again. Like just really strong storytelling and gameplay experiences for me. Like I love that. I love the depths of like the combat and like how you can really like this perfect match of like skilling up within the game, but also like getting better at the controls, and like it's like they just hit that balance.
Yeah, I really love that as well.
Just
it's my game. Love it. Absolutely great choices for both of you. Fantastic, man. This has been a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for your time, Lords. Adam and Klas of Wishfully Studios. As of recording, Planet of Lana 2, Children of the Leaf will be out now, and that will be on all major platforms: Nintendo Switch, PC, PlayStation, Xbox, even on Xbox Game Pass. Adam, Klas, thank you so much for your time. This has been an absolute pleasure. Any final things you want to say to the realm, to the people, now that the game will be out?
Well, it's just thank you so much for having us. Yeah, it's been great. Really nice chat. It was so good catching up in Tokyo, and like, happy to know you. And hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Absolutely.
Yes, let's And yeah, just so nice being here on the show, and it's been an absolute delight. And to everyone else, I mean, we're just happy that we get to do this every day, to be honest. And I mean, releasing our second game, it feels quite surreal. And I thought it was going to be easier releasing, a game the second time, but it's not. It's equally nervous, equally nervous, and it's all the emotions at the same time. So yeah, but still very, very excited and
No doubt.
happy to have it out there.
Absolutely. You put your work out there. To me, it's one of the most courageous acts. I've played it. Me and Axe played it. I love it. I think you got another shot at being great again. And we'll see when people get their hands on it. But that's what we got here in the realm. Attic, we are out. Anything further you want to say to the team before we head out?
I appreciate you coming on and giving us some of your time. I know, especially right now, it's a very stressful time, so I appreciate you coming on.
No doubt. And there you have it.
No worries. Happy to
We
be here.
are out of here. Peace.